What does it really take to radically change your life? I'm not talking about a new habit, like going to the gym. I mean a complete top-to-bottom transformation. Well, today we're going to dive into a powerful ancient story about that exact thing, a tale of incredible conviction and what it takes to find profound freedom. So this story, it comes to us from a Buddhist sutra, and it follows the pretty dramatic journey of a man named Saṅghārāma. Now, this guy was the son of a respected elder, living a life that, honestly, most people would kill for. But he felt this pull, this deep calling for something more.
Before we really get into his story, let me ask you this. If you decided you wanted to change everything about your life, I mean everything, how many times would you try before you just gave up? Once, twice, maybe 3 times? Just keep a number in your head, because Saṅghārāma's answer is a huge part of what makes this story so amazing. Okay, so here's the roadmap for his journey. First, we'll look at his frankly unbelievable persistence. Then, we'll get to the simple teaching that changed it all for him. After that, things get dramatic with a confrontation from his past. We'll hear his profound response. And finally, see the incredible recognition he earned.
All right, let's get into it. Our story starts with Saṅghārāma, a man who, despite having a pretty comfortable setup, felt this deep, undeniable need to follow a spiritual path. He wanted to leave all his worldly attachments behind. And this wasn't just some passing thought for him. It was an all-consuming drive, like a fire in his soul. So back to that question I asked. Remember the number you had in your head? Well, for Saṅghārāma, the answer was 6. That's right, 6 separate times he tried to leave his home, his family, and all his wealth to become a monk. And 6 times, for one reason or another, he got pulled right back into his old life. This is way beyond simple determination. This is a totally unshakable resolve. But on his 7th attempt, he finally does it. He succeeds. He makes his way to where the Buddha is teaching. He bows and he asks to be ordained as a monk. The Buddha accepts him, and then he gives him the key, the one thing that will unlock the transformation he's been seeking for so long. And what's so beautiful is the simplicity of it. The Buddha didn't hand him some dense, complicated philosophy. Nope, he gave him just 2 methods. First, shamatha, which basically means to stop, to calm that nonstop chatter in your mind. And second, vipassana, which means to observe, to just see things clearly, exactly as they are, without all the stories we add on top. Saṅghārāma took this teaching and just ran with it. He went off to a quiet place, dedicated himself completely to this practice, and through it, he finally achieved everything he had been striving for. He became an arhat, a fully enlightened being, totally free from the grip of worldly desires. His transformation was at last complete. But of course, the story doesn't end there. The past has a funny way of showing up, doesn't it? Back in his hometown, his former wife and mother-in-law hear that Saṅghārāma has left for good this time, and they are distraught, they're angry, and they set out to the monastery to confront him and drag him back home. And wow, his mother-in-law just unleashes on him. You can feel the raw human pain in her words. She's accusing him of being cruel, of abandoning her beautiful daughter that everyone admired. She just cannot wrap her head around why he would throw all of that away. Now, the old Saṅghārāma probably would have argued or felt guilty or gotten defensive, but the enlightened Saṅghārāma, he doesn't get pulled into that drama. Instead, he responds with this incredible clarity and peace that just shows how much he's changed. He actually replies in verse. His first verse is just breathtaking. He's essentially saying that this path he's on, this way of seeing with wisdom, is now the most valuable thing in the entire universe to him, period. It shows a complete and total reordering of his priorities, from worldly things to inner freedom. But his mother-in-law still doesn't get it. She's still operating on that worldly level. So she presses him again, demanding a reason she can understand. What was wrong with my daughter? What did she do to deserve this? And Saṅghārāma's second verse is just brilliant. He explains that he hasn't rejected a person. He has rejected the behaviors and the attachments that cause suffering for everyone, things like anger and jealousy and lies. He's saying, I cast aside the poison, not the person. Then comes this pivotal moment of recognition. He turns to his former wife and he calls her sister. In that one single word, his family finally understands. The old, romantic, worldly desire is just gone. It's been replaced by a pure, compassionate love for another human being. They realize he is truly transformed, ask his forgiveness, and they leave in peace. So when the Buddha hears about this powerful encounter, he sees it as the perfect teaching moment. It's a way to show everyone the true nature of what Saṅghārāma had accomplished. You could say it's the final confirmation of his incredible journey.
And the Buddha uses this beautiful series of metaphors to explain just how complete Saṅghārāma's freedom really is. He says that trying to find worldly desire in Saṅghārāma now would be like trying to find a green sprout on a dead tree, or looking for a drop of water in a raging fire, or a flicker of flame in the middle of a river. It's simply not there anymore. It cannot exist.
And with that, the Buddha gives him the highest praise imaginable. He declares that among all of his students, Saṅghārāma is number one, the absolute best at overcoming temptation and the lures of the world. After failing 6 times, he became the ultimate example of resolve. You know, Saṅghārāma's story isn't just about becoming a monk. It's a timeless lesson about what it takes to master our own minds. And it kind of leaves us with a question, right? His demons were these worldly attachments. But what are ours? What temptations or patterns do we fight every day? And what can his incredible 6-fold path teach us about the power of never, ever giving up?